All right, so all game fives have been completed, so let's talk about them. Before I get into it, no, I'm not a Ducks fan. I just love the Mighty Ducks movie, and now that the Sharks are out, I might as well wear something that I wouldn't wear during the season. So yeah, this is a vintage 1990s Anaheim or the movie Mighty Ducks jersey. So yeah, let's get into it. 6 games, obviously, because 2 teams have already been eliminated. Or yeah, the Oilers and obviously the Blues. So let's get into it. Bruins take the series 4-1, and these are all game fives, by the way. Bruins take the series 4-1 over the Capitals. They pretty much dominated this whole series except for that first game in which they lost in overtime, right? But great win for them. 3-1 final score. Let's get into what happened. So like I said, good win for the Bruins. This game was in the capital, DC. There was no actually score in the first period, but David Pastrnak scored early in the second period with about 17 and a half minutes left. So Patrice Bergeron scored as well with about 6 minutes left in the second period, and that put him up 2-0. At this point, it's going to be hard to come back from that. Connor Sheary scored, however, for the Capitals pretty much 20, maybe 10 seconds into the third period, which was just, good for them, I guess, momentum-wise. But still, Patrice Bergeron continued to score, and 7.5 minutes left in the third. The Bruins took a 3-1 lead with a Patrice Bergeron score, and they won, taking that series. So that's another team eliminated. So, yep, Bruins will move on to the second round now. Next game, we have the Islanders, who took a 3-2 lead over the Penguins in Pittsburgh with a 3-2 overtime victory. Or double overtime, actually. So let's get into this. First goal actually came from Malkin. 11 minutes, 40 seconds left in the first period. So Pittsburgh took that 1-0 lead, which, helped them out. But Ilya Sorokin was pretty good in net tonight. And, he has been all series, I'd say. However, Anthony Bellavia scored for the Islanders with under a minute left in the first period. So good for them. Ilya Sorokin continued to make saves. Brian Rust scored for the Penguins, about 12 and a half minutes left in the second period. So that gave Pittsburgh the lead. However, Ilya Sorokin, like I said, he was really strong. And although, not having the lead, he was definitely helping the Lightning come back. So Jordan Eberle actually scored for the Islanders halfway through the third period, which tied the game up. And, we would have to overtime. Obviously, no goals in overtime. However, Josh Bailey won the game, right at the beginning of double overtime. And that's won the game for the Islanders. A good goal for him. Tristan Jarry couldn't save it. And, 3-2 lead for the Islanders. So the next game, the Vegas Golden Knights in the Wild. The Wild take a 4-2 victory over Vegas. I mean, I'm pretty happy about this. I do not like Vegas Golden Knights whatsoever. So good victory for Minnesota. They're a really scrappy team. Mark Stone scored the first goal about halfway through the first. That's the thing with Vegas. They usually come out in front early, but sometimes they do blow leads. Against the Sharks a couple years ago. We never forget that. Kirill Kaprizov's tied the game. Not too much after that first goal. He's, obviously a great young player. And Zach Parise scored for the Wild as well. Not too long after that. So, we had 3 goals in the series of just a couple minutes, and that put the Wild up 2-1. So good for him. Jordan Greenway made it a 3-1 game after a goal. And it was pretty much all Wild from here on out. Marc-Andre Fleury kind of struggled in this game. However, Alec Martinez did score for the Golden Knights, which made it a 1-goal game. That was about halfway through the second. But Talbot stayed strong, and Nico Sturm scored with half a minute left on the empty net. So the Wild won, and now it's a 3-2 series. Vegas still has the advantage. Lightning versus Panthers. Panthers were the home team. So it's weird saying this game was in Florida because no matter where they play, it's going to be in Florida. But Florida was the home team. Ross Colton scored first, giving the Lightning a 1-0 lead. However, they wouldn't really have much scoring. The Panthers won this game, obviously. In the second period, Mackenzie Weegar scored for the Florida Panthers 1-1, tying the game up. Mason Marchment scored for the Panthers as well, 2-1. We head to the third period. Patrick Hornquist scored for the Panthers very early in the third, making it a 3-1 game. And you're not, the Lightning are a great team, but they just couldn't come back from that deficit. And eventually, Frank Vatrano scored for the Panthers. Obviously, right at the end of the game on the empty net, and it was 4-1, and the Panthers won the game. So 3-2 series lead still for Tampa Bay. Now this next game, we have a series winner, not yet. So the Carolina Hurricanes actually took a 3-2 lead, my mistake, over the Nashville Predators. And this game was in overtime, so definitely a good game. This series has been really good so far between the Predators and Hurricanes. This was in overtime, and yeah, so let's get into it. So obviously the first goal came from Yakov Trenin, and that was 12 minutes into the first. Martin Necas scored for the Hurricanes, making a 1-1 tie. We head to the second period. Yakov Trenin scored once again for the Predators, making it a 2-1 game. And there was good goaltending in this game for Nashville in this game as well. But obviously the Hurricanes are a great team. Necas got his second goal of the game, 7 minutes left in the third, so it was 2-2. Jordan Staal took the lead and won the game in overtime for the Hurricanes, so they get that victory 3-2 in overtime. Now the final game, the Canadiens beat the Leafs in kind of an upset game in overtime. Obviously, the Canadiens were, facing elimination, right? So a crucial game for them in which they won in overtime. This series, I think, is going to be interesting from the rest of the way out because, you have, a team that tends to kind of choke the Leafs, and then you have a team that's kind of playing well. So I don't know. Joel Armia scored for the Canadiens in the first, made it 1-0. 2-0, he got his second goal of the game. He had a great game. Carey Price played really good in this game. And the Canadiens actually took a 3-0 lead, 15 minutes left in the second. Jesperi Kotkaniemi scored, making it 3-0 in favor of the Canadiens. However, the Leafs got on the board with a Zach Hyman goal, 3-1 at this point. And we head to a really interesting third period. Jake Muzzin scored for the Leafs, 3-2 at this point, and he actually scored his second goal 8 minutes left in the third, and that tied it up. We head to overtime. Nicholas Suzuki, just a minute into overtime, scored for the Habs, and it was a breakaway, no doubter, and it went in 4-3 final. So that's all game 5. Let me know your thoughts, and see you in the next one.